Italian fashion is famous all over the world, but there are some questioning whether parts of the industry have a problem with race. Even though migration has made Italy more diverse than ever, only one black Italian designer enjoys any kind of recognition. Now, she's launched a campaign asking, do Black Lives Matter in fashion? And is urging top brands to hire more black people. Sofia Bettiza reports from Rome.
The changing face of Italian fashion. This is the woman behind it. Stella Jean mixes Italian, African and Caribbean styles. Her designs have been worn by celebrities like Beyoncé and Rihanna. She's launched a campaign that exposes the stereotypes and racist comments that black Italian women face every day.
Ma sei nera, non puoi essere italiana.
Voi avete tutto il ritmo del sangue, no? Ma voi vi lavate i capelli?
È stata un'esperienza.
Growing up black in Italy was extremely trying. I've been called many insulting things.
Italian fashion has faced criticism for racist imagery. Take this jumper from Gucci or these accessories from Prada.
In Italia c'è un problema di razzismo nel mondo della moda.
Suffice to say that I'm the only member of the Italian Fashion Council out of 113 who is black. My uniqueness is absurd.
It's the Fashion Council in Italy, along with those in the UK, America and France, that dictates what happens in fashion around the world. Out of protest, Stella cancelled her show at Milan Fashion Week, but asked if she could promote her anti-racism campaign there instead.
I asked for support. From that moment on, the Fashion Council stopped all communications with me and didn't even send me an invite to Fashion Week.
But she says that those same fashion brands who had blanked her later rushed to show support for Black Lives Matter on social media.
I was bewildered. I was disheartened.
Italy's Fashion Council says a lot of its brands are trying hard to be more inclusive, but that the government has to drive positive change.
Because of migration in the past few years, Italian society is changing very quickly. But that's not reflected on catwalks, in magazines and in fashion stores. The misconception that to be Italian is to be white still exists.
Racism in Italy is blatant. The problem is that after fascism, Italy didn't reckon with the colonial past and didn't reckon properly with the massive and rooted heritage that fascism left to this country.
Stella is now lending her voice to the Black Lives Matter campaign. She's urging fashion houses to hire more black people. And as the movement grows, she feels they will now finally have to listen. Sofia Bettiza, BBC News, Rome.
Well, let's talk live to sociologist Angelica Pesarini, who was in that film, and fashion designer Edward Buchanan. Hello, both of you. Thank you very much for talking to us. Edward Buchanan, does Italian fashion have a problem with racism?
Italian fashion has, yes, a problem with race. I think, you know, like Stella Jean was saying before, in Italy, they have not really come to terms with their colonialism past, as well as considering that, you know, in Italy, within the fashion system, we're in few. We're really in few in terms of companies and also in terms of people that work inside of the company. So it's more a question, I think, of, you know, history and I guess finding ourselves up to date with and dealing with the past history of Italy.
Angelica, some of the larger Italian fashion houses have made, you know, have come up with racist items to wear. I mean, Gucci's blackface jumper, Prada's gollywog trinket, Dolce & Gabbana's pizza advert. If they employed more black people, would those items of clothing have been made?
Well, that's a very good question, actually, because this is one of the issues we have. There is really a lack of representation of black people and people of color, not only in the fashion industry, but really, I would say, in every sector. In my sector, I teach sociology, and I'm the only Black Italian professor teaching sociology in Italy. So this is may sound quite shocking, but really shows the lack of representation and diversity we have in the fashion industry and in many fields. So definitely, I think having more inclusive and diverse staff definitely would help, because every time we see this kind of representations, we complain. We write letters, we do demonstrations, so our voices and our bodies are very visible. But then there is somehow a will to portray this country, Italy, as a white nation.
So, Edward, in terms of what action can be taken to correct this, what would you say? What kind of stuff, practical things could be implemented to change the representation of Italian fashion houses?
Well, along with Stella Jean and Michelle Ngomo, who is the actual founder, creator and founder of Afro Fashion Week in Milan, that's existed, I think, for about 5 years, we've actually created somehow a cultural fashion reform request. We've proposed this to the Camera Nazionale della Moda and Carlo Capazza, who is the president. And what we're requesting, or what we're asking, is to have a think tank, which we've actually scheduled for the 22nd of this month, to outline a kind of proposal. It's kind of a 6-point proposal. So I think in terms of, we have to consider discussions on education. We have to consider discussions on cultural appropriation. Why is it that many of the companies that have had these major gaffes in the past have been coming out of Italy? Checks and balances. We want to create and discuss, kind of a self-regulatory body,
right,
and system of checks and balances.
But how do you get more black people in the industry, in fashion? What do you do?
That's a very interesting question. We're also, what we can do in order to try to sift talent and people that are working within the fashion industry is that we're also attempting to create somehow a database of talents, not only creatives, but also buyers and merchandisers and people that are working in fashion or would like to work in fashion, so that these people are actually accessible.
Sure. Angelica, what practical things could be done, do you think, to bring more black people into the fashion industry?
I really think we should start from the basis, which is really, and from the institutions that unfortunately do not help us. I'm sure what happened in Italy, this recent scandal of the memes about our foreign minister, Luigi Di Maio, who came back to work very tanned, and suddenly people were posting on the social media lots of racist jokes, and rather than condemning these images, he laughed about it and he said, "Oh, thank you for making my day lighter." So if this is the reaction to racism of our foreign affair minister, you can see we have an issue starting from the institutions, and also in school. The curricula really need to be changed and decolonized. As I mentioned in the interview with Sofia, we don't study Italian colonialism at school. We don't study about the war crimes committed by Italy in Libya, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, and Somalia. And so we really are not in touch with our past. So I think really we should start from education, from the study of history, and also from the institutions themselves need to be decolonized, and to see black people as belonging to this country and not as foreign bodies.
Sure. Thank you, both of you. Edward, very briefly, I can see some of your shirt. I'm just wondering if it is relevant to our conversation today or not at all.
My shirt?
Yes.
It's actually a bra, which is actually printed on the shirt. Not necessarily relevant to the conversation, but works within the system.
OK. Let's have a look. I can't see it properly. I actually thought it was... Oh, I can see it's a bra now, yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Edward. Thank you for talking to us, Edward Buchanan and Angelica. Thank you for your time, Angelica Pesarini. Thank you.